In the early 1900s, the need for regular, scheduled services in the English language had been discussed by members of the Bethany Lutheran Church congregation and other interested individuals in the Lindsborg community. Sparked by a chance conversation during a men's chorus meeting in room 106 of Bethany College's Old Main building, a committee was selected to meet with Dr. Alfred Bergine, pastor of Bethany Lutheran Church. Upon Bergine's request, a formal letter was drafted and sent to him and the Bethany Church Council on January 23, 1906, outlining plans for the new congregation. Messiah Evangelical Lutheran Church's first service was conducted on January 15, 1908, in the Old Main Chapel by Dr. Ernst Pilblad, president of Bethany College. Until the present church building was completed, services alternated between the Old Main Chapel and the Swedish Pavilion, which was then located on campus. Messiah was, at the time, the only English-speaking congregation in the Kansas Conference of the Augustana Lutheran Church. The theme of our centennial celebration is remembering the past, serving in the present, and rejoicing in the future.
This is the picture of the 50th anniversary of Messiah Church. The pastor at that time was Pastor Joel Lundeen, and he's standing on the left. The next in line is Mrs. Cora Johnson. Her husband was Dr. H.G. Johnson, a dentist in Lindsborg, and they were charter members. She was a real pillar in our church, very active in the Women's Missionary Society. And what I remember most about her is that she always sat on the south side of the church, and whenever there was a verse in the hymn about the Trinity, any mention of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, she stood up. And so all the rest of the congregation stood up too, because she felt that in her father's church that was a measure of respect. And so we all stood at that time for a verse about the Trinity. The next lady is Mrs. G.N. Malm, Matilda Malm. Her husband was an artist. He painted the altar painting that you see behind it, the people there that's in our altar. He was one of the people really instrumental in the formation of this church. And then next to her is Lily Malm and her husband Eve Malm. He was a brother of G.N. Malm, and they too were charter members. The Malm brothers were owners of a paint store. They did the stenciling. I don't believe you can see that in this picture. There was beautiful stenciling around in our church, around the ceiling part. And then next is Jens Stensis. He was a treasurer at the college, and he and his wife Blanche were charter members. And I think it's wonderful that after 50 years that we had these 5 charter members who were still able to be there and in reasonably good health, it looked like.
Sunday, August 17th, the Danielson siblings returned to Messiah to share the real-life story of the April 1941 sinking of their passenger ship, the Zamzam. On their way to join their father, Elmer, a Lutheran missionary in Africa, the children and their mother, Lillian, were held by the Germans as unofficial prisoners of war for more than 30 days, while their fate was unknown to the outside world, including their father. Learn how their faith saw them through this grueling ordeal. Then, September 21st, 4 Sons of Messiah return for our Sunday morning worship service. David Hurdy, Ralph Anderson, Charles Riggs, and Darren Holdsworth were all raised in the Messiah congregation, and all 4 answered the call to serve the Lord and the church through their ministries.